Hello. Want to know the longest video I can make with this camera? The last video was it. I had no videos or pictures prior to the making of that video. That is the longest it can go, and it also increases my belief that videos aren't the best medium for philosophy. They're not even really a great or good medium. They're really just for highlights, because if you really want to understand philosophy, you really have to read it yourself. Like I'm doing that book review on this, which I've decided to skip Rugi because most of the important stuff you get in Bauer, so I'm going to go anyway. It's the end of philosophy, origin of ideology. I'm skipping Rugi, going to Marx, put in the next video. So yeah, I mean this might have to be another 20-minute video. Also, I think philosophy fiction is a bad medium for philosophy, but that's a video for another time. Where was I at? Pitch, right? Multiplicities. You should think of multiplicities as the space of possibilities of a sentence. You might think, why do we need jargon like that? It's because there's no simpler way of putting what it is. What is he saying? And I might have to stop looking at my notes more, because Wittgenstein's Verificationism is like 10 times more complicated than Schlick's. Maybe not 10, but it's a lot more. So it's what's possible given the proposition. And I have a quote: the expectation and the expected event have the same multiplicity if they are embedded in the same logical space of possibility. If a hunger is for a red apple over a green apple, and what is present is only a green apple, then this distinction between possibilities is not present. The hunger has a different logical multiplicity. What does this mean exactly? Well, let's see. I want pie. This creates the expected desire, to have pie, or for there to be pie, for reality to be pie, or I want pie and there is pie. So the multiplicity would be there being, pie in the world, or there not being pie, there. But there is stuff there, but there isn't pie. There is pie, but it isn't there. They might have different multiplicities, in which case the connection between the real world and proposition isn't there. Yeah. And if I ain't making sense, it might not be philosophy, it might just be me. If I'm not making sense, it might not be Wittgenstein, it might just be me. I have to admit that right from the get-go. But yeah, the whole thing is about, does the world have the same multiple space of possibles as the proposition? Or at the very least, does the world have one of the possibles that the proposition has? Can you aspect see the existence of the type of state of affairs that the proposition states could be? Oh yeah, and aspect seeing this fulfillment. Aspect seeing the possibility from the logical multiplicities of the proposition. That aspect, the articulated scene. You have to say articulated because it's seen that can be put in the grammatical sentences. That's the verification right there, not the psychological thing that Mr. Schlick, Dr. Schlick was talking about all the time. Yeah, and that's how he handles that one problem, Wittgenstein. The verification relation between the propositions which have logical properties and the objects in the world which don't, is that the multiplicities of the sentence and the scene of the stuff is the verification. I don't know. It's not mentioned in my notes yet. It's further on, but it really helped to think of chess. When you see a knight, you can see its possibilities if you know chess. If the knight is in the middle of the board, you can see all 8 places it can go. You can see that it's 8 possible, it's 8 multiplicities. But if you don't know chess, you can't see the you don't see it the same way, because you don't see the multiplicity. And So the articulated scene is to be able to see where it can go, and whether or not it's correct or not depends on, well, your scene of it going there. And it's not the physical scene, it's their articulated scene. It just sounds weird. So it's not the sense data. We're not talking sense data. We're talking, in the game, the rules are 2 spaces up, 1 right's good, 3 spaces up, 1 right's against the rules. You can see the aspect of it. And another example that was in the paper that was really good is, let's say there's a table down there. You can't see it. See, table way down there. Your little green table. So I put my hand over it. This is to explain articulated scene. It's not that I have the sense datum of this stuff. The idea is what does this mean for me to put my hand in this gesture over the green table? With articulated scene, the articulated scene is to simply give an explanation. I know a guy who's this tall. That verifies it as true. That's the articulated scene of what this gesture means over the table. So that's what it means. It's basically it's linguistic theory. The proposition has much possible logical possible situations, and it's verified by grammatically correct witnessing of the world. That has to be based off of logic. I see in the logical articulated scene of the world, which still probably doesn't make much sense. I'm really doing a crappy job of explaining it. It should. I hope you can get a hold of y'all can get a hold of the article. Yes. I'm going to try to edit out these pause. Yes, what is important? I probably won't. I can't figure it out. If I can't figure it out, right? What is important is how we perceive. Possibility of motion marks the form of motion and its space. Oh, here's a long quote. In recognizing what is expected, I must accept that as the expected event and use that as the expected event and use a description that is a part of the description of the expectation. This accepting of facts as the fulfillment of the expectation is the articulated scene of the fact. I don't really know how to explain that very well, so I'll let you take that as main. We're at the end of it, which is good, because see, I tell you, when I wrote this paper, it made sense, but enough time's passed, or I only have glimpses. Let's see. The problem of the verification religion. This is the list of that stuff. Schlick had lots of problems because it was so psychological, but Verificationism is a logical relation. It was internal rather than external. It wasn't, here's the proposition, I have the feeling of contentment, bam. It's not an external thing, it's an internal relation with Wittgenstein. There's the proposition, and here's the possibilities, and here's the expectation of the event, and here's the articulated aspect scene based on the description of the expectation, from the proposition, articulated aspect scene of the phenomenon. The problem of certainty. Yeah, the problem. His problem with his stuff is certain. It may not be like certain in the normal sense, but certain in the sense of being able to understand the proposition and be able to understand its fulfillment in the world. In this part, he brings up the table example. We can be certain what this means when it's articulated, what it means. The private meaning isn't a problem, because instead of it being a private feeling, it's a set of signs that we we get from the proposition, and our experience of having it verified can be converted into science because it's a part of a logical structure rather than a feeling. So the rock is falling is a proposition. So one of the possibilities is the rock is falling there, and from the description I know that what a rock falling looks like, and I can see what it means. In the same way I can see what it means when a knight on a chessboard moves correctly, so I can see it, and I can do that. But I can derive signs from this that I could use to communicate it with other people. Yeah, understanding and grasping multiplicities require each other. Understanding a sign has to do with seeing it in a structure of a kind of multiplicity. Understanding is brought out by explanation. Yeah, somehow you can individuate facts beyond the proposition, but I don't have much notes on that. I guess that's it. I'll try to edit out the spaces. Yeah, this probably wasn't all that great. This probably isn't increasing your likiness of the video, but Wittgenstein is really hard. That's all I can say. I do recommend trying to check out the video though. That's it. Alright, bye.